ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸਿੱਖੀ ਸਪੀਕਸ ਦੇ 51st ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੁੜਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਵੀ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਯੂ ਆਲ ਫਰਮ ਟੀ ਮੌਲਿਓ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਸਦਕਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਵਾਰ ਇੱਕ ਨਵੇਂ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਨਵੇਂ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਪੰਥ ਦੀਆਂ ਕੁਛ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀਆਂ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਰੂਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬੈਠਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਮਕਸਦ ਇਹ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਰਾਹ 'ਚ ਚੱਲਣਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਪਾਸੋਂ ਜਾਣਨਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਹਨ, ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਰਾਹ ਹਨ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਰਗ 'ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੱਲ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨੂੰ ਪਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਸੁਚੱਜੀ। ਇੱਕ ਐਸਾ ਜੀਵਨ, ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਹੋਂਦ, ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਰਾਹ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਬਾਣੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਖਦੇ ਹਨ, ਵਾਸਤਾ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਨ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਰ ਗੱਲ ਤੇ ਚੇਤੇ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਣ ਹਨ। ਹਨਾ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਨ ਸੁਚੱਜੀ ਅਮਾਵਨ ਦੋਸਰੇ, ਉਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਵੰਜਿਆ ਕਿ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਧਾਰਨ ਕਰਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮ ਨੂੰ ਪਾ ਪਾਵਾਂ, ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਉਸ ਸੁਚੱਜੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਢੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਅਪਣਾ ਪਾਵਾਂ ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਵਰਗਾ ਬਣੇ, ਮੇਰਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਭਾਈ ਕਨ੍ਹਈਆ ਜੀ ਵਰਗਾ ਬਣੇ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਫ ਗੁਰੂ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਹਰ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਤੋਂ, ਹਰ ਜਿਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਨਾ ਵੈਰੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਹੈ, ਹਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਘੱਟ ਘੱਟ ਮੈਂ ਹਰਜੂ ਬਸੇ ਵਾਲੀ ਬਿਰਤੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਵੇ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕੌਰ ਜੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਨ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੜੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਐਂਡ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਇੰਸਟਾਗ੍ਰਾਮ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਕੌਂਸ਼ੀਅਸ ਸਿਸਟਰਹੁੱਡ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਇੰਸਟਾਗ੍ਰਾਮ ਹੈਂਡਲ ਤੇ ਸੇਵਾ ਨਿਭਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਮਕਸਦ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਰਾਹ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਜੀਵਨ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਪਾਈਏ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਚੱਲਣਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਐਂਡ ਮੈਂਟਲ ਵੈਲਬੀਂਗ ਨੂੰ ਸਟੇਬਲ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਗੁਣਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਧਾਰਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਿਸ ਗੁਣਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਬਖਸ਼ੀਆਂ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਨਾ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਹਾਂ, ਆਈ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਔਨ ਦ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ। ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਜੀ। ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਕੌਰ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੋ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਫॉर ਸਪੈਂਡਿੰਗ योर टाइम फॉर अस। ਤੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਤੋਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਜਾਣਨਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੀ ਕਿ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਾਬਤਾ ਪਾਉਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਜਾਣੀਏ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਦੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਜੀਵਨ ਹੈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਪਣਾ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਲਾਈਫ ਹੈ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਭ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਦੀ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਆਪ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਨਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਘਰ ਵੀ ਸੰਭਾਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਹਾਊ ਡਿਡ ਯੂਰ ਜਰਨੀ ਸਟਾਰਟਡ? ਘਰੇ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਏਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ? ਹਾਊ ਡਿਡ ਯੂਰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਸਟਾਰਟਡ? ਐਂਡ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਚਾਨਣਾ ਪਾਓ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ, ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਫॉर allowing me to be here first। ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ, it's amazing and I feel very honored that you asked me to be a part of it। ਹਾਂਜੀ, so I was born into a Gursikh family. My mum and dad were Gursikh before I was born, and they gave me, I would say, the foundation of my Sikhi। And when I was in high school, मैं गुरसिक्खी तो काफ़ी दूर हो गई सी। मैं चाहती नहीं सी पई मैं रैत रखां, एंड ऑनेस्टली मैं अपने आप च सोचती होंदी सी पई कोई रब तां है ही नहीं, कुछ नहीं हैगा। And I used to be very depressed। But then ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੰਗਤ ਮਿਲੀ after high school, when I went into different sangat, I started to see the ਪਿਆਰ of Guru Sahib। ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਸੀ, ਲਾਈਕ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੀ ਆ, ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, like I used to just have these thoughts just flowing in my mind, and I used to think ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, of course there is। And then I thought, well, that's been inside the whole time। So very soon after I started having those feelings, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਅਮਰ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ। And then soon after that, within a couple of years, ਫਿਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਕਾਰਜ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਨਵਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। And ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੈਗਾ that from the moment that they took Amrit, they just dedicated their life to the Panth। And ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, that's my life। even ਆਨੰਦ ਕਾਰਜ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਮਾਰਗ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਦਾ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚ ਲਓ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ, that's up to you. And so then ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਮੰਨ ਗਈ ਸੀ, and even though it's been hard, I would say, in the years of marriage of being able to do the seva, with Marge's Kirpa, we are on this path of seva, and we do prachar all over the world. I don't class myself as a pracharak or any kind of vidwan, but ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਾਰਜ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ।
ਮਾਰਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜੀ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ। ਤੇ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਈ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਰਨੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਪ ਡਾਊਨ ਆਇਆ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਆ ਹਨਾ, ਬੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਧੀ ਇੱਕ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਹਨਾ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਤੇ ਦ ਕੌਨਸ਼ੀਅਸ ਸਿਸਟਰਹੁੱਡ ਨਾਮ ਤੋਂ। ਸੋ ਹਾਊ ਡਿਡ ਦੈਟ ਥਾਟ ਅਰਾਈਵ ਕਿ ਇੱਕੋ ਦਮ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਰਨੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਕੀ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਸੀਗੇ, ਜਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਇੰਸਟੈਂਸਿਸ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਬੜੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ?
I think ਜੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਾਂ ਲਾਈਕ when I was younger, ਉਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਦੀ, and I definitely didn't used to have ਸਤਿਕਾਰ for myself. And I used to read ਇਤਿਹਾਸ when I was very young. I used to even just see like depictions of my Paguji, Mata Sundari ji, Mata Sahib Kaur ji, and I used to think, oh, wow, like there's bibiyan like this, they were like this. But mere aale duale, they weren't those kinds of singniya. And I used to think, chalo ta, pichliyan gallan hai, it's not real now. And मैं दा सोचती थी that I would love to be like my Paguji. I would love to look like Mata Sahib Kaur ji and be Mata Sahib Kaur ji's daughter. But I used to think that's never going to happen. And then when I took Amrit, फिर मेरे मन विच इदां गल सी that जे मैं singa वांगू बना, then I will have the same power that my Paguji had. I will have the same kind of padvi that Mata Sahib Kaur ji might have, or that same status, if I act like a Singh. And I was trying to be, like, I'm just being honest here, I used to try to be like a warrior, but without any female qualities. I was very harsh. I used to be very stubborn. Ta mera bol wala, it wasn't mitha nahi si hega. And it was only when ਜਦੋਂ ਰਸਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਸੀ, ਉਦੋਂ I can remember clearly ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ੀਸ਼ੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖਦੀ ਸੀ, I was looking at my growing stomach and I thought, wow, like ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨੀ ਤਾਕਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ that like we can grow another person inside of our body. In that moment we are like gurus, well, we're like Vaheguru, that we become creators, and we're creating another body inside of ourselves, another human. ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਈ that actually there is a lot of power within women, and because I never saw that before, I didn't have the experience of it, ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ that could possibly be me. But with Rasal Singh, like there's so much kirpa with just pregnancy anyway, but in that instance I thought I'm in a place of real power. And then for me apne aap vich khoj karan lag pi that what other things have I missed out on. And when I started to do that khoj, I really started to see all the different strengths and qualities of females that are important and special. And I could see that none of the bibiyan around me could see that either. So I thought to myself, I want to share whatever I know. I want to share it with other bibiyan so that they can become strong as well. I wouldn't say that I am 100%, but jera kuch main sikhya hai, all of the things that I've learned, I want to make sure that I put that out there for other bibiyan to learn from as well. Because I have this, like, I wouldn't say, well, it's not even my vision, it's Guru Sahib's vision of the 96 Karodi Khalsa. And I think if the 96 Karodi Khalsa is going to come into this world, then we have to be in a strong place as the matawa of those Singni Surme. We have to be in a strong place to be able to welcome those ruha into our wombs. And we can't do that if we are so stuck in all of these worldly things. We're stuck in our trauma. We are stuck in thinking that we aren't anything. We don't see ourselves as being strong or being worth anything. So meri koshish hai that I try and put as much information out there, and I support other bana to be able to really bring out that strength from within themselves. And that's the point of conscious sisterhood.
Beautiful, Panthi. Because being a pan, I could feel that social media, we try to that the first concern you mentioned, that we usually try to copy कि ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਵਰਗੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵੱਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, not recognizing the power ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਭੈਣ ਨੂੰ, ਇੱਕ ਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ੀ ਹੈ. That's totally different part. When coming on the topic, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਅੱਜ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜਾ ਪਿਆਰਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਸਾਡੀ ਡਿਕਸ਼ਨਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਇਆ, ਸੁਚੱਜੀ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਦੀ ਮੂਰਤ, ਦਇਆ ਦੀ, ਭਾਵਨਾ ਦੀ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਉਸ ਮੂਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੁਚੱਜੀ ਅੱਖਰ ਸਿਰਫ ਮਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਭੈਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਬੀਬੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਹਰ ਜੀਵ ਇਸਤਰੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਈਵਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਬੜਾ ਪਿਆਰਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ. ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜੇ ਸੌਖੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਸ਼ਬਦਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ, if I ask you in very easy words, so what the real ਸੁਚੱਜੀ is? ਸੁਚੱਜੀ ਹੋਣਾ, ਸੁਚੱਜੀ ਬਣਨਾ, ਉਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕੀ ਆ?
Okay, well, I will try and sum it up as much as I can. Like, it is a very, it can be taken so deep. I think that's with any part of Gurbani. Like, you can take so many deep meanings from everything. But if I had to try and sum up what Suchajji is, it is a woman or any jeev, any person that has the gun, the virtues that pleases her husband. So if it's a male, he's seen as the sole bride, with the husband being Vaheguru. That's with everybody, right? So it's pleasing Guru Sahib, pleasing Vaheguru, and pleasing Vaheguru in such a way that they become your everything. A Suchajji is a person jide chaj changeya, and she has got all of those qualities that please Vaheguru. She's got everything. She's got all of the sukh in the world. She accepts Pana. She lives within Pana. Oda maan satkar banda hega karke oh Pane vich rendi a, and Guru Sahib loves her as like the most beautiful wife. And all of the guna that she has, they are in every part of her life. So any gun, like if we just take the gun of Daya, for example, Daya is in all parts of her life, and she's got that from Guru Sahib. Like we talk about jidam rang lagda hai gaya, so Guru Sahib da rang ode te hai gaya, and because of that rang, she then spreads that rang everywhere else as well. So all of her gun go into all parts of her life and all across the world, anybody that she meets. And like if we think about the very last pankti of Suchajji, which is kya mango kya keh suni main darsan bhook pyas jiyo, gur sabdi soh paya sach nanak ki ardas jiyo. That the main, in my opinion, a Suchajji is be gur sabdi soh paya, that person that is ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਹੁ ਪਾ ਲਿਆ. And it is somebody that is so immersed in Gurbani and what Gurbani means for them. Maharaj ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ. That is a Suchajji.
ਜੀ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ, ਮਤਲਬ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਬਾਣੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਣਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਧਾਰਨ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਗੁਣ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਨੇ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਕਿ ਨਿਵਣ ਸੋ ਅੱਖਰ ਖਵਨ ਗੁਣ ਜਿਹਮਾ ਬਣੀਆਂ ਮੰਤ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਇਹ ਤੇਰੇ ਭੈਣੇ ਵੇਸ ਕਰ ਤਾਂ ਬਸ ਆਵੀ ਕੰਤ, ਸੁਚੱਜੀ ਹੋਣ ਦਾ ਰਾਹ ਮਾਰੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦੇ. ਬਟ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ, ਇਫ ਯੂ ਟਾਕ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਆਰ ਨੋਰਮਲ ਡੇ ਲਾਈਫ ਨਾ, ਤੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੋਟਿਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਐਕਸਟਰਨਲ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਜਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਰਾਹ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ, ਮੇਰੇ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਜੀਵਨ ਕਰਕੇ, ਮੇਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਕਰਕੇ, ਮੇਰੇ ਥਾਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਕਰਕੇ, ਮੇਰੀ ਆਈਡੈਂਟਿਟੀ ਕਰਕੇ, ਵੀ ਜਨਰਲੀ ਲੈਕ ਸਮਵੇਅਰ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਸੁਚੱਜੀ ਦੇ ਮਾਰਗ ਤੇ ਚੱਲਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹਜੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ ਤੇ ਦੂਰ, ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਮਾਰਗ ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ ਦੂਰ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਦੇ ਕਦੇ ਇਵੇਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ. ਸੋ ਵਾਟ ਆਰ ਦੋਜ਼ ਥਿੰਗਸ ਜੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਮਾਰਗ ਤੇ ਚੱਲਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹਿੰਡਰੈਂਸ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰੋਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਪ੍ਰਤੀਤ ਹੈ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਸਾਨੂੰ we are known to that concept, but still ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵੱਲ ਤੇ ਹਜੇ ਚੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. So what are those things?
I think, Benji, we have to look at, like, Suchajji is the highest state of mind we could be in. So then we need to think about what is the opposite of that. So if we look at Kuchajji, the woman that doesn't have the gun, that doesn't have the pleasures of a Vaheguru, and isn't pleasing to her Vaheguru, her husband, Lord. Like, she's living in a state of Manamat, that Kuchajji. She hasn't understood what Gurmat is, and she just follows her mind. She hasn't given her head to Vaheguru. She hasn't given her head to a Guru and said, Guru Sahib, tusi give me the mat, whatever your mat is. We are still living in that state of ego. That's what stops us. And if we think about, I think we really need to think about where we are today in the world as a Panth or as a Qawm as well. Like, we have to do that khoj within ourselves to think, where are we on this path to Suchajji and why haven't we got there? And I think one point I really want to make is that this path to becoming a Suchajji, to becoming a Gurmukh, to letting go of Manamat, to become a Sohagan, it's not an easy path. And je asi sochiye te hanji sokha kam hai, we are very big fools to think that. Mar sanu kende ve khanne tikhi walone ki, that this path is very, very hard. And so to get there is going to take commitment, it's going to take time, and it's going to take effort. But if we think about where we are today, like in the same way that I think about how I didn't used to have satkar for Bibi, I didn't used to have satkar for myself, there are, what I see is Bibiyan feeling very weak, feeling powerless, feeling not having confidence, feeling like they need to always look pretty in a certain way, or they feel very sad, they've gone through a traumatic experience, or they have a very busy life and they feel like they don't have time to kama any Gursikhi. All of that has led us to being so far away from becoming a Suchajji. But everything that we do in our daily life, everything that we keep as our nitnem or in our routine, that has an impact on whether we become a Suchajji or not. So we have to think about what we do every single day. Idda nahi hega that we go to the Gurdwara once a week, like, and on a Sunday, and itte ta idda bahut chalda hai pe Sunday nu jana hunda hai, we have to go on Sunday. And we go once and we think, okay, yeah, sada ban gaya, and then we'll do ardas in front of Guru Sahib and say, Mahar, tusi sade vaste tusi kaat nahi hai kaam karde sade vaste, like, why are you not giving us what we're asking for? Ek wari asi Guru Sahib de kol jana hai gaya, and then that's it, we think we're done. And even Amritari Gursikhs, like, we have to think, when we do our Nitnem every day, are we really doing our Nitnem, or are we just trying to finish it? We start with Japji Sahib and we're doing Mool Mantar and we think, Hanji, man sada tikya hai gaya. We get to sochna hove and we're thinking, asi, let's reach on this note Bhagyo, like, as soon as we can. Karke, we've got to do this, we've got to do this, we've got to do this. Are we really concentrating on our Nitnem? And so we are so far away from Suchajji because we've let all that worldly stuff get in. We haven't formed that relationship with Guru Sahib. That relationship isn't strong enough yet. Maybe we just don't know how to make that effort, but asi effort bahut ghat pai hegi hai. And I'm not talking about everybody. There are some very rangle sajjan Gursikhs in the world, but for the majority of us, we aren't there. And I would say also that there's things that have happened in our history that has torn us away from our Guru. So we can think about how there's been the enemies of the Panth, whatever you want to call them, whatever name you want to give to them. The enemies of the Panth, they have taken away our history. if we just take 1984, for example, all of our history that was in our libraries, that's been torn away from us. So we don't even have access to that anymore. Or we've been told by the people that colonized Punjab and the rest of India that we have to look a certain way. We've been told that we don't need our bana. Even Keski has been taken away from us to take our status away, to take our crown away, so that we don't feel like we are royal. We feel like we are worthless, and that there is something wrong with us if we look this way. There's something wrong with us je assi simran naal jurde hain. There's something wrong with us if we want to sit and do vichar of Gurbani and not watch Netflix. So all of those things have taken us away from our Guru. And we are also not looking at our history deeply enough, just even for what we do have access for. Like we can think about Bibi Satnam Kaur, the very first Gursikh, not even the first female Gursikh, the very first Gursikh. They were the first ones to see Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj to be the Guru, to be Akal Purkh Waheguru. And then we look at Mata Khivi Ji. There's something so special about Mata Khivi Ji. I was just listening to Ram Ki War Katha just a few days ago, and something really stuck with me. There is one part of Ram Ki War where Sattam Balwand are talking about Mata Khivi Ji. And I'm just getting the... Yeah, okay, so the pankti is Mata Khivi Soho Soe Jin Goe Uthali. I love that. I absolutely love that pankti because Sattam Balwand giving Mata Khivi Ji such status, the padvi of saying Mata Khivi Ji's husband, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. She's being called, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj is called the husband of Mata Khivi Ji. Like if we think that usually it's like, even with me, I'm the wife of Navreet Singh, not Satnam Kaur, I'm the wife of Navreet Singh. And that's fine, it's respect-worthy, it's great. But I love that in this Gurbani, Mata Khivi Ji has been, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj is called the husband of Mata Khivi Ji because she has so many guna in her. And yeah, I just absolutely love that. Like we can look to these bibiyan, do ardas to these bibiyan of our Panth for that soji on how to become a Suchajji, because ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ. We can learn from Guru Sahib, we can learn from each other, but those bibiyan lived their Gursikhi. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ Guru Sahib ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ Guru Sahib ਨੂੰ ਪਾਲਿਆ, and so we have to learn from them too. So I hope that kind of I hope that sums that up.
जी जी very very beautifully. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਨਾ ਕਿ there are challenges, there are things that are hindrance, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਤੇ ਜੇਕਰ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਜਿਗਿਆਸੂ ਵਾਲੇ ਰਾਹ ਤੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. we always try ਕਿ ਕਿਤੋਂ ਸਿੱਖੀਏ, ਕਿਤੋਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਏ, ਕਿਤੋਂ ਸੁਣੀਏ. So what are those things as a Bibi, as a parent? I want to be a Suchajji. I want to become that one who gets the blessings of Guru Sahib. I want to be that one ਜਿਸ ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨਦਰ ਕਰਨ ਔਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰਸੰਨ ਹੋਣ, ਔਰ ਉਸ ਜੀਵਨ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਤਾ ਭਾਗ ਕੌਰ ਜੀ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਮਾਤਾ ਖੀਵੀ ਜੀ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਨਦਰ ਮਿਲੇ. So how can I become Suchajji?
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ, that everything takes commitment, it takes time, and it takes effort. If we don't have those three things, and we don't have that love and desire to want to become a Suchajji, then we may as well just forget that it would even happen. So it takes, think about like when we want to get to know a person. Like Benji, I don't know you very well. Sadi galbaat ho gaya 2-3 times. But before that, I didn't know you. And in order for me to really know who you are, I'm going to have to spend a lot of time with you. I'm going to have to get to know you, ask you questions. Yeah, just spend time with you. In that same way, if we want to be the Suchajji, Gur Sabdi Sohopaya, how are we going to get there? Je asi Guru Shabd nu jaande nahi hege. We have to get to know Guru Maharaj. We have to form that relationship with Maharaj through our daily rat, through our nitnem, and beyond our nitnem as well. Always be thinking about Jesi Maharaj nu, if we want to please Maharaj, then how do we do that? And pleasing Maharaj isn't a case of we need to give Maharaj these beautiful Ramalle, or we need to give Maya to Maharaj. That's not what it is. Maharaj, all that Maharaj requires from us is love, and also rat as well. So rat pyari mujhko sikh pyara na hai. That our rat is everything. Our rat is the thing that gives us sade manu shakti mildi hai. And if we don't have that rat, then that's also going to be a hindrance. But anyway, it's about, if we want to take the gun from Maharaj, if we want to be that woman that wife that pleases her husband, we have to think about, what would we do if we have a partner? What would we do to please them? We would do so much. If I just think, just our relationship, there is so much that we have to do to make our marriage work, to make sure that it's always, working well. Our life is a little bit different. We're, in seva all the time. Our life is very, very busy, which you are aware of anyway, Penty.
Right.
But like, there's so much effort that has to be made just between two people to make sure that your marriage stays good and alive and well. In that same way, are we making that same effort with our guru? That this is a dunyavi rishta that we've got. What about that atmik rishta? Do we have that? And like I said, it takes time. It's not going to happen in one day. It's going to be lots and lots of effort to try and please our guru. And I think that we give up very easily. We think to ourselves, like, we have so many things that are just instant. We've got our phones, and just at the tap of one button, sanu sara kuch mil janda, whatever we want. But that's not how Guru Sahib works. We have to really make that effort, really spend time every single day. And that's what a Gursikh Rat is. That's what a Gursikhi Jeevan is. To become a Suchajji, that's what we have to do. And we can look at, even just on a worldly level, like the guna that we get from Gursikhi, how does that come into the rest of our lives? So we can think about our lives as like a daughter, a wife, and a mother. If we think about ourselves as a daughter, we should be doing the seva of our parents. And I know that sometimes we think that we don't want to do that seva. We, have issues with our parents. But there's one Gursikh that I can think of right now. And his parents don't understand Gursikhi very well. It's just somebody that came into my mind just as we were talking about. It's somebody that doesn't, their parents don't think about Gursikhi that much. They don't think much of it. But this Gursikh is in Bana, is in Rat, and the amount of seva that he does for his parents, it makes you think, wow, like, why would you even do that? We don't think. Our parents say one thing to us and we just say, "Hon to baad sada koi rishta nahi hai." Like, we get to that extreme, right? But what it comes down to what we can, like, what can we endure that our parents may not even be on a Gursikh marg, but we can still do their seva, because that is required of us. So as a daughter, we should be doing our parents' seva. And we can look at Bibi Pani ji as the perfect, beautiful example of this. Unani enni seva kiti Guru Amar Das Maharaj ji, and they got all of the blessings for that. All of the Guru Sahib's lineage is in their blood, Bibi Pani ji. Like, it's so beautiful. They did their seva of their guru and of their father, and they got everything. If we look at the jeevan of a wife, we have to think, like, when we have our Anand Karaj, we've taken our lava around Guru Sahib ji, that we've made that promise that asi katthane asi Guru Sahib di seva karni hegi hai. But in a rishta, there's always challenges. So what do you do in those challenges? What do you think about? Do you run to other people and say, fix our problems for us? Or do we go back to Guru Sahib and say, Maharaj, you are the center of our life. When we had our lama, you became the center of our life. Do we come to you then for our problems? And do we do ardas to Guru Sahib? But also do the seva of your husband. And that's not like, it's not in a patriarchal way where your husband is everything and is how should I say, like your husband doesn't have to do anything for you, but you have to do everything for your husband. That's in my opinion, that's not a Gursikh Khanda Rishta. It should be equal. There should be a balance there. But you both love each other so much. You'll do anything for each other. Like the way that, you know, we see in Bollywood movies and things that, you know, you're just so in love with each other. You'll do everything to keep each other happy. In that same way, we have to have that rishta between a husband and a wife as well. So, which is all based on Gursikhi. It's all based on Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, because that is who you made the center of your life when you had your lama. And we really have to let go of our ego in that, in a rishta, like in marriage. You have to let go of your ego and think you're not trying to top one another, or, you know, it's not a competition. You are one. You're meant to be one. And so you have to walk the marg of life together. And I love thinking about Mata Sulakni Ji. Mata Sulakni Ji was, you think about the time that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj was on this earth, and Mata Sulakni Ji would have had to endure so much nindya and just so much backlash from all the people that surrounded her, because Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj was seen as being a crazy person. And then Guru Sahib went on their udasiyan and were away from their home for such long periods of time. And Mata Sulakni Ji had to deal with all of that. And I think just looking at Mata Sulakni Ji, you can think about her real commitment to Guru Sahib. Of course, you know, that rishta was amazing anyway. The Guru Sahib was her husband, but just taking it on a very worldly level, she supported her husband and was the backbone of her home. And that's what the purpose of a wife and a mother is as well, that she's the backbone of her home. She's the backbone of the Panth. Through her is the next generations are going to come. Through her is how Gursikhi is taught to her children. And she can do so much, just even while the children are in her womb. She can start to clear their karam through the Naam and Bani that she recites while the children are still in the womb. If we think about a mother as well, we can think about, I like to think that your path into motherhood starts from the moment that you start the Gursikh path. Because whatever you learn throughout all of your years, it could be years before you become a mother, that's fine. But whatever you're learning in all of this time, that is what's going to be passed on to your child. And so if you want your Gursikh, if you want your child to be a Gursikh, then, you know, whatever you're doing now has an effect on that. And like I said before, how are we going to build this Chanvi Krodi Khalsa if we are not strong mothers? And I love to think about Mata Ganga Ji in this time. Like they wanted the daat of a child, and unhone ardas kar ke Guru Sahib nu ardas kiti, and then they did seva of Baba Buddha Ji in such a humble way, and they had this beautiful surma par upakari Gurmukh that then became the Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Like, we have so much to learn from the Bibi Panth. And besides all of that, if we want to become a Suchajji, we really need to look to Guru Sahib for all of that guidance and inspiration. And I like to think about Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj's bachan to Bibi Panni Ji about the ten pabbe of Pulli, Pana, and Pala. So Pulli means that you don't have that ego to think somebody's, like, you think you've made a mistake. You don't just think, no, I'm not going to admit it. You know, you have you let go of your ego and think, "Nee, mere to bhul ho gayi, main bhul gayi haan." You think you live in Pana, and that's what Suchajji is all about as well. That the Guru Sahib ne sare sukh dete hai to this soul bride because ਉਹ ਪਾਣੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਆ, and she's understood Pana. She's understood that everything that is happening within her life, within the world, is all Pana. that ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਨੰਦ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਆ, so ਉਹ ਪਾਣੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਆ. And then the third pabba is Pala. She understands that whatever Guru Sahib does is Pala. Whatever Guru Sahib does for her, for everything around her, is Pala. And ਉਹ ਵੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ. She thinks about, how am I going to do the pala of my family? How am I going to do the pala of the world? And so that, I feel like that is a really strong button that we should all implement into our life. That was a really long answer, but I hope that understood that there is so much we can do as a Suchajji, so much to do, and sanu effort ta pauni pani hai.
For sure, Princy. Well, this is like the to-do list, है ना? But sometimes we have Pehna which are new to Sikhi, or we have Pehna who has been on the path of Sikhi, but वो किसी न किसी रास्ते में stuck नहीं. किसी कारण करके, maybe the family issues, maybe the personal life issues, maybe anything, है ना? But we are stuck. ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਵੀ ਲਿਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਵੀ ਲਿਆ, but something is missing. So ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ stuckness ਨੂੰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਉਸ ਰਾਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋੜੇ ਨੂੰ ਹੈ ਨਾ, that's not helping them. So for those who are stuck on the path, what can they do to be that Suchajji?
If they haven't started the path yet, then just start. And then we can't do till and just think that, okay, Mar sanu kuch pata nahi hega, sanu sare just give us all of the answers, so fir asi kar lunge. That's not going to happen, na? And that everybody starts from somewhere, and usually it's at the beginning. Even Gursikh Marag, ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਰਜ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਿਰ ਦਿੰਨੇ ਆ, that really is the first step to really understanding Gursikhi. That's the first step. Asita, we think about Amar Di Dat as being a really big deal. It is a really big deal, but that is still the first step. And so what I'm trying to say is that if somebody is stuck, ja ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ja they might have anxiety around their life, then just start very small. It could just be just the simplest thing, that you're going to commit to doing 5 minutes of Simran a day, or you're just going to listen to one Shabad a day. It could be something so simple. The point is to just start. And when you start, Fir Maharaj Maharaj is always Angsang, but then we start to feel like Guru Maharaj is Angsang, because we are spending time, we're making the effort, and we're spending time with Guru Sahib. Then of course Guru Sahib becomes our Sangat then. And whatever your Sangat is, that's what you are colored with. What's the saying, is it Jaisi Sangat Taisi Rangat?
Taisi Rangat.
Yeah, so in that same way, if we're doing Sangat of Guru Sahib, however small it might be, that is going to have an effect. So if we're not on the path, we're not on the marg of Gursikhi yet, and we feel like we don't know where to start really simply. You may not even know Japji Sahib. Start with Mool Mantar. If you don't know Mool Mantar, just do Jap of Ik Oankar. If you don't know how to do Jap of Ik Oankar, then just say Vaheguru. Maharaj has made it so easy for us in this time of Kal Yug. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj has made it so easy for us that we can just say Vaheguru once, ta sanu mukti mil sakdi hai, je sada man judya hai. But ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਭਿਆਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਸ from that of Guru Mantra, when we do abhyas of Vaheguru, the more that we say it, the more of an effect that it has on us. If we can't do anything else, if we do Vaheguru Simran, but really jud ke, really committing to it with an icha and a desire to want to become closer to Guru Sahib and to become closer to Vaheguru, then we will get that. Then everything starts to fall into place. The point is just to start. And if somebody is, I just want to add this point as well, that if somebody is already on the path of Gursikhi and they know their Nitnem, or they have been in Gursikhi for a while, but they still feel stuck and they still haven't formed that relationship. Again, it's very simple. Do more Sangat of Maharaj. Do Khoj of Gurbani. Think about what your nickname is, and think about, do you know what your nickname means? What does it mean for you? And the thing is, with Gurbani, it's so deep that you can read one pankti of Gurbani at one time and it will mean one thing to you. And then you can read it a year later and it will mean something completely different. It's always, it's changing for you as you develop and as you grow in your Gursikhi. So it's always important to constantly be doing Khoj, and also do Khoj of yourself as well. You know, really assess where you are as a human being, not even just as a Gursikh. What challenges are there in your life? What experiences have you had that are stopping you from being close to Guru Sahib? Like I know that certainly within our Punjabi community, this is my observation, that we hold a lot of trauma in our DNA. So all of the things that we have gone through, they stay with us. So if we've had traumatic experiences, either as a child or, you know, as a teenager, as an adult, all of those things stay with us. And so we have the responsibility that we have to understand what that trauma is. We have to understand how it affects us. And it's our responsibility to heal from it. And we have got everything within Gurbani to heal, to become pure, to become a Khalsa. That's the beauty of the Khalsa Panth, that Guru Maharaj has given us everything. All of the Rat, all of Gurbani, Maharaj ne inniya data dittiyan hai. Like we're just not taking it. And so it's our responsibility to be able to heal from everything that we've had and let go of our ego, because it's our ego that says we are bad people. Asi layak nahi hege. That's just our ego talking. Or sometimes it's just like fake nimrata, because we're lazy. That asi aalas karde hain, we don't want to make that effort. So we have to let go of our ego. And that's what we do when we give our head to Guru Sahib. We are letting go of our ego. Our head is higher than our heart. And when we are placing our head at Guru Sahib's charan, we are saying that we are letting go of our ego, and we're coming from a place of love, our heart. And we want you to give all of Gyan to us. You know, we want all of Gyan. We want all of your love, Guru Sahib. So yeah, long way of saying it. Just start. That you have parosa in Guru Sahib, but just start however it is. Ardas karke shuru kar lo. Even if you don't know how to do ardas, just do ardas however you know how to. It's, you know, Guru Maharaj is beyond words. So in order for our understanding of what Gursikhi is, Maharaj has given us Gurbani. But it comes to a point when Gurbani and the words, even all of that, you can't express anything anymore. Even Guru Maharaj says that to try and understand Guru Sahib, or to try and write all of the gun of Guru Sahib and Vaheguru is pointless, because you can't. And but I forgot what I was going to say now. But, you know, have Parosa Maharaj, do Ardas however you know, and just put your all into it. And if you can't put your all into it, just do whatever you can. Just start. Yeah.
Okay. This is beautiful, Paisi. Like, koi bhi, sadde jeevan vich koi bhi phase hove, any path we are choosing, the first thing that we need to do is to do ਭਰੋਸਾ on that Guru, है ना? And ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਹੱਥ ਸੌਂਪ ਦੇਣਾ। ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਚਰਨ ਇੱਕ ਪੈਂਡਾ ਜਾਇਚਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕੋਟ ਪੈਂਡਾ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਆਪੇ ਆਗੇ ਹੋਏ ਲੈ ਥੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਲੈ ਲੈਣਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ। ਬਟ ਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਚ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਤੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਬਟ ਸਮਟਾਈਮਸ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਵਾਲ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਿਰਫ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਬਿਗ ਸਟਰਗਲ ਹੈ। ਲਾਈਕ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਇਜ਼ ਬਿਗ ਸਟਾਰਟ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ but if I ask you, after this much long years in Sikhi and on this path, है ना, are there still challenges? Are this every day still challenging? कि कुछ हजे भी हैगा जो मैंने उस path तो रोकदा या कि ਕਿ ਸਿਰਫ ਏਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ when we start and we do prosa and we have love and everything will be sorted?
The answer is there's always challenges. We are a path of warriors. We're a panth of warriors, and we are constantly in battle. Sada nit jangya with our man, with the world. There is always challenges. But as we go along in our path of Gursikhi, as we have more of a relationship with Maharaj, some things might become easier to understand. They might. So it's there's always challenges along the way, but you have a better understanding. And like speaking personally, I would say that when I was younger, like I really regret it. I think to myself, before I was married, मैं उदों कहता नहीं कमाई कीती करके उदों मैंने सोची सीगी that I should do कमाई तो मैं कीती नहीं हैगी. And then you get married, थोड़ी responsibilities वध जांदियां, and then you think, oh God, I should have done more. Then I've had Rasaval sing, and I think, oh my God, ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਆਨੰਦ ਕਾਰਜ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਾਹਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ. And so the struggle is always there. It's like even when you're doing your studying, you're studying for a degree. जो तुसी पहले शुरू करदे हैं, you think, oh chalo, let's relax. There's no exam, there's no test coming up yet. But the more that you do now, when those tests come, you'll be better prepared for them. And then you don't feel like you're just really stuck in whatever your challenge is. It's a nitjang, and Guru Sahib has given us all of the tools to be able to fight that every single day. Yeah.
जी बिल्कुल. This is beautiful that सतगुरु ने सानू एक ऐसा राह बख्शिया that every day, even किसी भी राह से विच होवे, we have a new struggle, we have a new day to face. And it's something which what personally I could feel in my life is that sangat helps a lot, है ना. Even if you are depressed, even if you are in the highest point of joy, and even in any state of mind you are, when you are in sangat, जब आप संगत विच होने आता सतगुरु कुछ ना कुछ हर वेले संगत तो दिंदे रहंदे ने सानू, है ना. So as a sangat, when we talk about sangat, as a sangat, how can I be sangat for others, and how can that sangat I can get the maximum use of sangat, क्योंकि कई बार से संगत में जाके भी लाहा नहीं ले पाते हैं, है ना. So how can that sangat plays role in my life, and how can I help as a sangat?
The sangat will play a role. You really have to think about who your sangat is. So choose your sangat carefully as well. Sangat ka matlab hai that when you go into sangat, you let go, that your ego is shattered, that your ego is taken away. So you need to think about which sangat you're going into. If the sangat that you are in just boosts your ego and makes you think, I'm the best Gursikh in the world, then that's possibly not the right sangat. So then you need to think about that as well. Are you going into the sangat of those that encourage you to form an even more relationship with Guru Sahib? Does that being in that sangat give you more pyar for Guru Sahib? And but generally, like if you are going into sangat, just think about those things and think about what seva you can do for those Gursikhs as well. The Gursikhan di sangat jehdi tusi karde hain. Think about what seva you can do for them. See them as being high beings. If they are really, if je oh jure hege a Guru Sahib de naal, tusi ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ seva karo, because they may have some gun in them that you want as well. And by doing their seva, in whichever way it might be, it could be making langar for them, it could be just ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨੀ. And like I know that there's a lot of pyar with Gursikhs that I've seen in the past. ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਮਾਲਸ਼ਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, and they say, I want you to be healthy, I want you to be well, because ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖੀ ਕਮਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ then ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਆ so they look after each other like that. It's about feeling like we are really a panth and that we are a family. And kadi kadi idda hunda that we don't even understand what family is. Sometimes our family situation or our family dynamic is such that ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਆ but in true Gursikhs in the Khalsa Panth there is only pyar. There is only pyar. Oh, irkha, it doesn't exist there. And so we have to seek out those Gursikhs. And I know it can be hard because especially now as well, we can't go out to many different places. We can't travel as much. But sadi koshish honi chahiye that we should find that. And one thing I would say as well, that like if you can't find Sangat for whatever reason, Guru Sahib can always be your Sangat. So don't ever think that you are alone. Guru Sahib is always there for you. And I know it can be hard to see sometimes and it can be hard to feel, but the more you do it, the more you will start to feel it. So yeah, supporting each other. We have to support each other as a Gursikh family. Really think about the Gursikhs as being your brothers and sisters and think, how would you want support from them? If you support them, they will also support you in your times of need.
Ji, bilkul. So when coming towards the end, sometimes as a parent we have some things in mind ki we are not as free in the words ki jive veer hunde hai na, they have this work sikar aana hai and they have their own time, but as a parent hai na, we have so much of responsibilities. We have home, we have offices, we have children, we have family. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਈਂਡ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਹੈ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਦਾਤ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਸੌਰਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖਣ ਦੀ, ਔਰ ਉਹ ਗੁਣ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਪਾਏ ਨੇ। ਬਟ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਉਸ ਸਭ ਰਿਸਪੋਂਸਿਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਵੇਅਰ ਇਜ਼ ਮਾਈ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਸਪੇਸ, ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਜੀਵਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਐਫਰਟਸ ਲਗਾਵਾਂ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਦੈਟਸ ਆਲਸੋ ਮਾਈ ਧਰਮ। I cannot, backstep from that. ਇਹ ਵੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਧਰਮ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਧਰਮ ਹੈ। Then how to bring that balance in life? ਜੈਸੇ ਇੱਕ ਭੈਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ, ਬੱਚੇ, ਹਸਬੈਂਡ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ, ਘਰ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ, ਔਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਔਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਜੋ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਬੈਲੈਂਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਵੇ। ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਡੋਂਟ ਫੀਲ ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ I've seen ਕਿ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ that's not that ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਵਾਲੀ ਫੀਲਿੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਵੀ ਡੋਂਟ ਡੂ ਆਰ ਰਿਸਪੋਂਸਿਬਿਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਵੈਰੀ ਹੈਪੀਲੀ। ਕਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਮਟਾਈਮਜ਼ ਵੀ ਫੀਲ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਬਰਡਨ ਆ, ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ, ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ। ਸੋ all of that affects our bhakti as well. All of that affects our seva as well, because we are not taking that household thing as seva. So how to bring that balance and how to understand that जो कर है वो भी कि मेरा गुरसिक्खी मार्गी है, or I should be like the things I have to sit and I have to do the separate bhakti as well.
Panji, I've done a lot of courage into this, so because I've had to think about it for myself. And if you just look at the way that a woman's mind is made up and a man's mind is made up, a man's mind follows one direction. They can follow one direction, they'll just stay on that path, and that's what works for them. A woman's mind is able to think about 7 different things or more at one time. And I can completely relate to feeling like you don't have time for yourself, you don't have time for your own bhakti. But one thing to understand is that a householder's life, a grist jivan, where you are bringing up your children, that is your seva to the panth as well. Your seva to your Sikhi, that is a bhakti too. And I think that's what we miss sometimes, that asi sochte nahi hai that this is also a part of our bhakti, to do the seva of our family, to do seva of the panth, because we are doing seva of our family. And but besides that, like when you really feel anxious and you think mere to aaj nitnem nahi hoya changi tarah, whatever situation you find yourself in, or you think like I can't even breathe properly, mere ko enne kaam hai, then that comes down to, like in my opinion, it's not having a strong a strong enough routine, possibly, this is just my opinion, that your Amrit Vela has the power to bring you so much calmness, to bring you in a place of complete clarity and soji of what your life is, where you are, what you need to do. And ਉਹਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਗੈਰ you're going to feel that anxiety. So are you spending that time before your children have woken up? Are you spending that time in Simran? Are you spending that time in Gurbani? And this is what I meant about it takes effort. Because when you have children, you are so tired, or you're looking after your family, you are so tired that you think, I'm not going to be able to get up for Amritullah. Like 2 o'clock in the morning is just not going to happen. Mere to 4 baje bhi nahi uth hunda, mere to 5 baje bhi nahi uth hunda. I have to get up at 6 o'clock so that I've got enough time to do Ishnan and maybe do my nitnem. Maybe I'll just play it and listen to it or something while I'm doing all the other kar de kam. But it's important that we have that time for ourselves in the morning, not even in the morning, at Amrit Vela, so that we can have that time for bhakti. And what I would encourage any Bibi to do is that jinni bani kant kar sakde hain, before children come, it will be easier for you, because then you can, if you do need to be doing all of your different kam, but you need to do your nitnem, or you need to do whatever part it is that you're doing, it'll be easier for you. But also, like, you may have heard of the term self-care, and I talk about this a lot just in my posts in Conscious Sisterhood as well, that self-care is one thing that you do it's part of your routine, it's Amrit Vela, but it's also throughout the day, and it might be several times a week, of understanding that you have to take time out for yourself as well. And you should have that kind of dynamic within your family where your husband and your children understand that, no, this is mummy's time now, and that we don't disturb her during this time. This is her time to do whatever she needs to do. And I think it's important to set that boundary within your family for yourself, because Bibiya can be very selfless, and we don't think about ourselves, we don't take care of ourselves, but we have to, in order for us to not then feel like we are under so much pressure. When we feel that pressure, then we start to think about manmat. So it's about stopping it or preventing it from even happening by looking after yourself before that situation even occurs. So find ways, have hobbies, or not everything has to be Gurbani and Santhya and Khoj and all that kind of stuff. It can be other things within Gurmat that give you pleasure and that give you a chance to express yourself in a certain way. And it could be doing sangat of other Bibiya. It could be reading books. It could be watching something inspirational on YouTube. It could be going through all of the Sikhi Speaks talks and thinking about, how can we reflect on those things. It's always just finding little bits. And it could just be 10 minutes a day in the evening. It could just be 5 minutes before you're about to do your Kirtan Soela, where you're just writing down your thoughts. And like you keep a diary or keep a journal. Just think about whatever your thoughts are and just write them down. That is also part of your self-care. And actually, with Guru Sahib's Kirpa, I've created a whole course on self-care, which is coming in January of 2021. And so there'll be lots in that one course about how to look after yourself when you feel like you've got no time to do anything apart from looking after your family and going to your job. So yeah, very important that you do find time for yourself, but help your family understand why you need that time and how it's going to benefit them, because then you're going to be more available for them to do their seva as well.
So basically, if we have to sum up the path of Suchajji, So what would be that?
ਗੁਰ ਸ਼ਬਦੀ ਸਹੁ ਪਾਇਆ, ਗੁਰ ਸ਼ਬਦੀ। If you are not, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ, then you can't be a ਸੁਚੱਜੀ। ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ, then you understand so much about ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖੀ, you understand so much about the ਗੁਣ that you have to have as a human being। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਆ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਾਣੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹੋਗੇ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਭਾਣੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਆਨੰਦ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਆ, and then that is how you'll be a ਸੁਚੱਜੀ।
So Panji, towards the end, one final thing, one message for Sangat, because ਆਪਾਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਕੁਛ discuss ਕੀਤਾ, we know that there's a place for self-care, we know that place for seva, we know that this place for family, we know this place for Maharaj and just you, ਨਾ ਉਹ ਸਭ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇਸ ਸਟਕਨੈਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇਸ ਪਾਥ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਸ ਰਾਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ that I have to follow those 3 ਗੁਣ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਭ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ that one final thing, one final message for youth or ਭੈਣਾਂ ਜੇ ਰਾਹ ਤੇ ਨੇ but somehow that the inspiration factor is missing and we don't feel like inspired, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੋਗੇ?
I would say that I know that it's hard, and look for sangat that will help uplift you. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but I will. Like, there is something really big happening with Conscious Sisterhood. I'm creating this is probably the first time I'm talking about it, actually. I'm creating this online sangat, and it will be coming in about a month's time, where we will uplift each other. We will inspire each other to want to do more for our Gursikhi. So seek out that kind of sangat. That's one thing. But also understand that not everything will all happen in one day. That Maharaj says, like, how it will be like how when you try to lick a stone, right? It's like trying to get taste out of a stone. You can't do that straight away. Like, you won't get the ras of Gursikhi straight away, but just start and find those people around you that will uplift you and inspire you and motivate you to do more on that marg. And you can always come to Conscious Sisterhood for that. That is what I would say my seva is for the Panth. That's what I'm here to do. So definitely look me up.
Very good. Bindu, thank you so much for joining. What from this all session, what I could get for myself is कि मैं रात पे चलना है, but I have to keep that अटल भरोसा on my Sadguru कि if I'll walk, then he'll come. If I won't, फिर उन्होंने मेरी वेट ते करनी है, but it's like the first thing that I have to step up. ते ताकि गुरु मेरा आएगा. So thank you so much for joining, Penji. Maharaj Kirpa, Sadguru आप जी दी सेवा ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਪਾਸ ਲਾਉਣ। We need prerna in the future जो साडी कौम से आके, the one thing that always touches me is like Babji mentioned किया, we're not becoming those mothers जिन्हां ने वो गुरसिख पैदा करने, जिन्हां ने आके आके साडी कौम ਨੂੰ एक अलग राह ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ। Whenever we talk about the कौम going in Tendikala and all the negative things happening, some or other way prerna are on a very big responsibility to hold that thing up. Maharaj Kripa, may this thing helps us all on the path of Sikhi te sanu Suchajji banan de vich a help kar paye. So thank you so much for joining, Penji. Aapka bahut bahut dhanwad. So as a gratitude, as just to thank you, this is just a small token of love from Maoleyo. We'll be planting a tree by your name at Neempura in Kharagpur, which is in West Bengal, India. So whosoever comes to Sikhi Speaks, एक प्रेम परी छोटी सी पेट और नमस्ते सुनती है that we'll plant a tree for you. Whenever you come to India, you must go there and visit. Say Maharaj Kirpa, thank you so much for joining and thank you so much for your time, Penji.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੋ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਇਸ ਪੂਰੇ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ, ਉਸ ਭਰੋਸੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ, ਉਸ ਰਸਤੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ, ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜੋ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਾਹ ਤੇ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਹੈ। ਫਸਟ ਥਿੰਗ ਵੀ ਨੀਡ ਟੂ ਡੂ ਇਜ਼ ਟੂ ਟਰਸਟ ਆਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਅਗਰ ਚੱਲਾਂਗਾ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆਉਣਗੇ, he'll come to help me up, he'll come to love me, he'll come to please me। ਬਟ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਕਿ ਸਮਟਾਈਮਸ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਔਰ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਕਨਸੈਪਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਕਸ ਕਰਕੇ we forgot those principles। ਅਸੀਂ ਭਾਣਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਭਾਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਭਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਆਈਡੈਂਟੀਟੀ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ we feel ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਗਰ ਨੀਵੇਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ। ਪਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੂਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਨਿਚੋੜ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਦੇ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੇ 3 ਗੁਣ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਤੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੇਕਰ ਵੇਸ ਕਰ ਲੈ ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਕੰਤ ਦੇ ਵਸ ਆਏਗਾ। ਨਿਮਨ ਸੋ ਅੱਖਰ ਖਮਣ ਗੁਣ ਜਿਹਬਾ ਮਣੀਆਂ ਮੰਤ, ਇਹ ਤੇਰੇ ਭੈਣੇ ਵੇਸ ਕਰ ਤਾਂ ਬਸ ਆਵੀ ਕੰਤ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰੇ ਇਹ ਤਿੰਨੇ ਗੁਣ ਸਾਡੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਸਣ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੇ ਰਾਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਜਾ ਪਾਈਏ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਨੇੜੇ ਜਾ ਪਾਈਏ, ਉਸ ਪਿਆਰ ਨੂੰ, ਉਸ ਸੱਚਾਈ ਨੂੰ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰ ਪਾਈਏ। So thank you so much for joining Sangat ji. Today was the 51st episode of Sikhi Speaks ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਹੈ। Thank you so much for your support। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਇਸ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਨੂੰ ਅਗਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਿਵ ਹੋਵੇ, ਆਪ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨਾ। ਐਂਡ keep yourself updated with Sikhi Speaks and Maoleyo। Maharish Kripa, we have so much in the coming days as well। ਤੇ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਫੀਡਬੈਕ ਹੋਣ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਈਮੇਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਨੀਚੇ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਆਪ ਦੀ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਭੇਜ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਵਿਲ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਐਵਰੀ ਸਜੈਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ yours ਜੀ। ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਬੇਅੰਤ ਭੁੱਲਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ, ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਣ ਨੂੰ ਯੋਗ ਹੋ, ਬਖਸ਼ ਲੈਣਾ ਜੀ। ਦਿਓ ਅਸੀਸ ਤੇ ਬੁਲਾਓ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।